Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Well, I recently was talking about this knife on the channel. This is the Coleman Camp Utensil or something like that. I can never get the name right. It's one of those things. But it's basically your hobo knife with the red handles, so you think it looks like some kind of Swiss Army style knife, which is really interesting because, well, let's get the only Swiss Army knife that has a fork and a spoon. That would be this one. And where's the fork? Well, that's the blade. And then there's a fork in here somewhere. There's the fork. There's your fork on this knife. Also, what else is in here? There is a saw. And then I think, what is this blade? There's your cap lifter screwdriver. I probably wouldn't try that cap lifter. It probably would not work too well. And then it's got a spoon over on the other side here. And that's the cap lifter you see there. The spoon might work. And then also you have a magnifying glass on here. And then a little snap hook so you can hook it to yourself. Obviously, this is a toy knife. But this is the only Victorinox knife that I'm aware of. Now, a couple of them have a fork. Where was the fork again? Here we go, fork. A couple of the Victorinox knives have a fork. There's a cheese knife that has a fork, but for the most part, you don't even find a fork on a Swiss Army knife. And as far as I know, there's not a single Swiss Army knife that has a spoon on it. And there's definitely not a Swiss Army knife that is a setup like a hobo knife like we have here. But in any case, you see a lot of handles, red handles here, including the one by Coleman. And I showed this one before. I'll show it again in a minute. But I also have two by Colonial here. And if you notice, this one has a bail. This one does not have a bail. This one was in the Swiss Master series. And this was the Swiss Master camper. I did a video on this. Got the small fork on there. The fork is not nearly as long or as useful as the one on the Coleman. And then you have the spoon on the other side. Let's get that spoon out. Notice how flat that is, and the bowl on the Coleman is actually a little bit bigger, a little bit more useful. It has the same bend there going on. Now the difference is this knife, you cannot take it apart. It is not a take apart knife. You have a fork and a spoon. You can use it like so. Use the spoon, use the fork, or you can use the knife and the can opener. Got the knife blade here. Opposite end of the spoon, but a lot of good that does, because I'm not sure how you're supposed to hold the food down with the fork and cut with the knife if both of them are on the same thing. That's where the Coleman really shines, is that it comes apart and you have the spoon on the opposite side. The knife blade on the opposite side of the spoon, and then you got the fork so you can actually, fork, cut, eat, so on and so forth. Drink your, eat your soup with the spoon over here once you close the blade so you don't cut yourself. And also, these knives only have a can opener. They do not have the device on here, which is both a can opener and a cap lifter. So that's the difference with the Coleman. Got to keep it open, I believe, to close it. Or is it the blade has to be open? I can't remember. No. Yeah, here we go. Let's get that back on. Close the spoon. Close the fork. Once the fork and spoon are closed, you can actually open the knife, use it without fear of the knife coming apart. You can use the blade. I mean, see, it will not come apart unless the fork and spoon is open. So the other tools work otherwise. But this does not come apart at all. And this was the camper and the Swiss Master series. This is the Matterhorn. As you can tell, it's got a bail on the end here, so we also know that that does not come apart, but it feels like it should, because it is very wobbly. See that? And that's because it's got the snap-on handles there. But we can get the fork open. Fork is the same as what you have on this one here. Just about the same size. See that? Just a little straighter. The tines are not quite as wide apart. And then you've got a spoon over here. You got the camper logo. Can opener here. And let's get, see, does not move. And you have Imperial Ireland on this one though. So these were made in Ireland by Imperial. So these were made in the Jalwika factory in Ireland. And this is in the Matterhorn series. You can see that from the little Matterhorn on there. And then the other Colonial I have back here is basically the same knife as this, except an earlier one, and this one has the imitation stag handles. Does not come apart again. And as you can see, this is a stainless steel spoon and a stainless steel fork, but the other tools on here are carbon steel. This is a carbon steel blade going on with it, which is pretty cool. And then also a carbon steel can opener. And this is very much an old-fashioned can opener. These were probably made in the late 50s, early 60s, judging from the can opener that Colonial was using at this time. As you can tell on the later one, this is from the 90s. And you've got the more traditional safety can opener. Both of these are a push-down style of can opener, but they're different. That's because this one, like I said, probably 50s, early 60s. And then the last one, this is the one I just recently bought, and the person selling it said it was made by Colonial, and they said it was made in Japan. And that really threw me because I was not aware of Colonial making a knife in Japan. But I was looking at it, and everything about it told me this is one I need to go ahead and grab, regardless of where it was made, and regardless if it was Colonial or not. He did show the pouch here. The pouch is one of the weaker things on this, but this is very much like those pouches you see on these Japanese-made Hobo Knives, including the rivets in the top there, rivets along the bottom there, and then the way it opens up, and you see the handle here. And I looked at that, and it's like, man, is that bone or is that plastic? And to tell you the truth, I'm almost positive it's plastic, but it hasn't shrunk at all. This is probably made in the 60s or early 70s, and it was definitely made in Japan because, well, let's open the blade and we'll see it. It says right there, stainless steel, Japan. And that is the only mark on it. As you notice, it has a spear point blade. So as soon as I saw that, it's like, that's probably not Colonial, because all of the Colonial ones I've seen all have a clip blade. That's the way Colonial did it. So it's probably not, but it's made in Japan. So I figured it was decent enough quality. Got to be a little careful closing the main blade. But on the other side, we also have that later version of a multi-purpose tool with the can opener up front, the cap lifter on the back side. But what really got me going is the fact that, well, if you open up the fork and the spoon, it's a little trickier than on the Coleman, but it comes apart. So it's another take-apart knife similar to these frames, which was really what got me going, because I really like the fact that now you've got the fork and the spoon separated. So this is like the Coleman, only earlier, and it had this cover. I'm sure it's plastic. once I got it open, it's like, yeah, that's definitely plastic, but I don't care, man. They did a really good job making it look like a saw-cut bone or a saw-cut stag. See the lines going in there and everything. Just really nice. Yeah, again, they set it up correctly. You got the cap lifter and the can opener on the same blade or on the same portion of the handle as the fork, and then the spoon is on the same side as the knife. So close that up, close this up, open the fork, and you're ready to eat your tube steak because you're camping. All right, you wouldn't even need a knife and a fork to eat a tube steak, but you know what I'm talking about. And for those who don't know what a tube steak is, it's a hot dog. But maybe your bratwurst or something like that. Oh, let's get this open back up. It's a little tricky closing, and I gotta be very careful with the blade and the spoon. Let's get the blade down. Because the blade does come in contact with a bit of the spoon right now. Actually, it comes in contact, I think, with maybe the closing portions here. But in case we get that down. Yeah, it actually hits the spoon. So I guess if I can get that spoon bent out a little bit, I'll be all right. But in the meantime, I don't care. That's pretty cool. Really nice, and you know, considering the knife is probably about 40 or so years old, it's in really good shape. And same with the leather sheath. I probably need to do a little bit of work on that, something to tenderize it a little bit, moisten it up a little bit. I have found that you put it in this way in the spoon to the outside, snap it down. It's in place and everything, but as you can tell, this moves to the side, so that's not the safest way to carry this. Got a feeling a lot of Boy Scouts lost this knife because they put it in the sheath instead of hanging it. Oh, and that's something else. For those who wonder, to me, this is very important. The little key ring here, or the bail on these knives, and one of the main reasons for that is because when you're camping and stuff, a great thing you can do with these knives, especially the ones that are all stainless steel, is you can like open up the blade and then open up the can opener or cap lifter thing, tie a string to this, and you drop it into a pail on the over the campfire in boiling water, and you can basically sterilize your knife set. That's one of the cool things about it, and that's why they also have bails on these kind of knives, so you can just throw it into boiling water and hang it in there for a while and then just pull it out without a problem. Another thing I've mentioned before in the past, the cool thing about these little forks, even though they are kind of small, they can also be used, say you got a tick or something, you can press down on either side of the tick and keep pushing down and all the way out, and you can actually remove ticks with these little forks. So multi-purpose fork too. In any case, thought I'd share a little look at some of, well, basically the latest of my hobos that I picked up, especially the ones on this frame. I really do want to get a couple more take-aparts like this. There is the big Walmart one, but I was looking at this size today. One of these days I'll show some of my other hobo knives. I really do like this pattern. In any case, with that said, I will let you go and talk to you again soon. let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.